following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, this is Ken Gidge, and this is Gidge World. If you've lived in the city of Nashua since 1988, then you certainly would know the TV station TV13, and the people sitting right beside me have run it since 1988, and there's a few problems, and we're going to try to fix them, or at least have you help us fix them. Carolyn Choate, how are you?
Thanks for having us, Ken.
Gordon Jackson, how are you?
I'm well, thanks, Ken.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Now, TV13
He's
may...
lying.
Huh?
He's lying.
Oh, yeah. We did this on radio.
Let's move on from that.
All right. It seems that there's been some changes over to TV13. In other words, it was sold, bought, resold, bought. Mm-hmm. And now, I guess, to go digital, the people who you are managing the TV station for will spend $1 million+ to go digital. Mm-hmm. And I believe that they've spent money before this, $1 million or close to it.
$4 million.
$4 million. So that's will be $5.6 million. Now, what happened, whatever confusing why, we'll find out, but there's a good possibility that Comcast will let you guys go dark. Why?
August 15th, in fact.
August 15th. Well, that's not going to happen.
Well, as they say, never say never, but, you know, it is a long story, but I like to begin with one part at the beginning, and that was why the station came to be in the first place. During the Carter administration, during President Carter's administration, low-power stations were developed as a way to reach those remote communities who didn't have a lot of coverage. Maybe there were 3 affiliates in a state as big as Utah, but one little corner might not have had a lot. So low power was developed to help bring civic programming of interest to that local community to their televisions. And at that time, and broadcast, by the way, you know, through the air, the old antenna that used to sit on your roof. And as a result, the person who founded TV13, which is Dr. Robert Rines, also the founder of Franklin Pierce Law School, he had a dream, and the dream was to buy low-power stations and use them for that express purpose, to educate young people about science and math. As a preeminent scientist himself, he invented ultrasound. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Inventors Hall of Fame.
Inventors Hall of Fame. That was his goal. And one thing he didn't know a lot about, and that was television. He went searching for a management company. He had someone manage it for its first year, 1987. In the meantime, we had run a station in Burlington, Vermont for 3 years, and that had a sale as well. We were pushed out, and all these years, we're buying our equipment from a little place in Hudson, New Hampshire. Came down one day for some equipment repair, and Gordon says, hey, we need a job. If you know anyone who wants to hire a management team. The guy said, there's a news station in Nashua, and it's not doing well, and it could use you.
1988.
The rest is history.
So you've been there ever since.
And we worked for Dr. Rines all those many years managing his baby. Didn't get very much money from him, except for, you know, some technical things, and we were on our own to sell advertising and build the station from scratch. It was way in the hole when we took it over, and within 6 months, it was in the black.
Well, also you told me an interesting story the other day, and I like to say it. You did an interview once holding one of your daughters, I think 1 year old. You were interviewing then the Mayor Wagner, and your other daughter behind you yelled, cut.
Yep, it was a family affair for sure, and I was, you know, rocking the car seat with my left hand interviewing Rob Wagner when our oldest daughter, I guess she was 3 at the time, yelled out, cut, 3, 2, 1. I burst into tears, sitting on the steps of City Hall. I burst into tears and I said, Gordon, I quit.
Well, that
And I
was,
did. I
and
quit for about 2 months.
And
until
how
we
old are your
could-
daughters now?
They're 23 and 20.
Well, you didn't quit. And we're not going to make sure that you get fired now or go dark. So people can go to your website, which is,
TV13Nashua.com.
okay, now let us just go through a number of people who are helping you. I know Senator Ayotte, Senator Jean Shaheen are sending
joint letter.
joint letter. Also the governor.
Governor.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Betty Lasky.
And Senator
Emphatically, Senators Lasky and
And
Gilmore, who
Gilmore.
are our personal representatives as well.
And you have the Senate,
Senate
bipartisan.
President Peter Bragdon.
That's here in New Hampshire. I mean, I don't know what they need, how much more they need to realize that TV13 is very important. And I don't want to see it go. I mean, I've been on there a number of times. It's fun. This is a access station. We do it differently. What you see comes into your homes, but what TV13 does is they go really basically out through more into the community, more
On
than
location.
we do. So that is one of the great reasons this station should stay on.
It's a bridge, Ken, and it covers the greater Nashua area, all the way out to Peterborough in the west, Kingston in the east, around Manchester.
Atkinson, on the other side, Antrim.
So in a lot of ways, it covers events that are, what would you call it?
We say it covers the people, places, and events that make our corner of the world unique. And a lion's share of it has been done without pay and with a heart for community service.
The other thing is that
that's for sure.
I think one of the things that occurs to me is that we're constantly losing a lot of our sense of ourselves, because many of these institutions that have been here for many years, the radio stations are going away. The localism is sort of slowly disappearing. Newspapers are taking a hit, as you can imagine as well. So we're sort of losing this sense of ourselves and being overcome by this more or less national media, so that's one of the sad things that
Having been in radio and have done a little newspaper writing, I can tell, well, it's factual. These things are leaving us. We need local news on basically a daily basis. You guys are 7 days a week. You're there if something takes place. You can go in more so than, no offense to Channel 9. I mean, Channel 9 is great, but you can spend a little bit more time with it. As we can spend here more times with one subject, you can go out and spend a little bit more time. So it helps people get more information and helps them make good decisions. And the fact is, we are losing newspapers, we are losing radio stations, and I don't want to lose TV13. So you make sure you go to is it TV13.com?
TV13.com and TV13Nashua.com, and there on the homepage is a link to go to using a professional petition service.
it's a nonprofit.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit of its own.
And it'll ask you for
Activism.
it will ask you for your name and an address.
They need to vouch for
and
subscribers.
an email, and that's typical of any kind of survey. I mean, they want to know, in fact, that this person. We don't just go in there and fill it with a bunch of names. And,
Yeah, sure. Like I could do it 10 times or something like that. I mean, these are,
I'd like to get back to the point as to why they're considering taking us off, and that is because, as you've already alluded to, the station was sold 2 years ago to Benny Media, who also bought Channel 50. And at the time of that transaction, I signed a 2-year contract, and I was moved over to work in the news division at WBIN. Gordon was not hired by that establishment, and in the meantime, there wasn't a lot of attention paid to local programming. I mean, I was already working 40-plus hours a week. It's not that I could devote more time.
No, I saw you at the
State House. He's terrible on camera. Just kidding, dear. Doing interviews. He's not an interview type, but ace at technical behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
And et cetera, and just you know, an incredible sense of the technology, and he's stayed ahead of it all these years.
Thanks for pointing that out, by the way. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You are the brains behind the woman. But anyway, with no
It
local...
never stops.
Exactly
It never
what that
stops.
is.
Yeah.
This is one good reason to keep TV13 on. This is
It never stops.
really a great group.
With no local programming, the cable company obviously saw that and said,
No,
they did not know.
no
that-
local programming with Benny Group. Is that
No,
Correct.
basically, I was contracted to manage the station while Carolyn was working full-time for BIN doing
Okay,
news.
Sure.
So I was tasked basically just to keep programming on the air. We did
Repeats.
a lot of reruns,
Oh, sure,
that sort of thing.
sure, sure.
And we covered some events, the parades, and a few other things that could be managed. But by and large, the content, we lost a lot of local content over that year and a half, I think.
Okay, so when you two come back and you're giving the responsibility of managing the station again.
Yeah,
I mean,
the new
look,
owner came in and said, the new owner came in May 20th, and I said to them, okay, you own it now. You know, what do you want us to do with it? Because they hired us both full time.
Right.
And they said, go back to TV13 and do what you love, creating local programming. And I was like, somebody pinch me. It was like one of the happiest days of my life.
And I don't want to call Comcast the big bad boogie man at this particular point, but let's face it, it is a business for them also. Having said that, guess what? It is our airways, first of all, and second of all, local programming, as TV13 has done over the years, is really, really, really important. So Comcast, if you're out there listening, I will be calling all of you personally. Don't call Comcast, though,
No.
people. Please go to the website.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a long and fruitful relationship with the cable industry over these many years. We do not wish to lambaste the cable company. We're saying that, you know, we think by having us on, you will serve your subscribers. We will keep people coming to cable because we're not on satellite, we're not on Dish. And, you know, it's unfortunate that perhaps when they sent out the announcement saying that they were taking us off August 15th, we have it on good sources that they didn't know we were rehired to come back and restore, reestablish, reinvigorate the local aspect.
Now, didn't you have an agreement before it was purchased by the first group that you could keep the station
Until 2015.
2015?
With an opportunity to renew, I believe.
Is there any hostility with the cable company? I mean, is there, what do you have any type of?
We have no idea why, you know, since we are answering their dilemma. Yes, we're producing more programming, more local programming, doing, you know, we dived in, you know, we found out we were coming back May 20th. On May 21st, I was at Amsterdam covering the wonderful event with Chris Malloy and his female partner there on the project, whose name escapes me right now, for Art in Bloom. And it was just, you know, it was just a surreal moment for us to be together, you know, married 25 years. We're in television before we even got married. But the other thing was that there was some technical issues, and we realized that. That's why we had to sell out anyway. We could not afford all the price of the regulations of the FCC.
Which
know,
was at that time?
Which to go digital.
Convert to digital.
To go digital was the cost of?
Yeah, as you probably are aware, that the industry as a whole, the market was declining.
Yes.
Local revenues were falling off rapidly, and at the same time, we were faced with the prospect of converting from analog to digital, which was well in the range of $1 million and some dollars. And I just felt that at that time, it would not be worth our while to undertake that kind of debt
No,
load.
that's.
Already had a
make that
second
step.
mortgage on our home.
And so as a consequence, when Bill Binney came along and made us an offer, we accepted it.
But with contract.
And we also
Sure,
felt
yeah.
that, because if we didn't do that, then ultimately the station would have gone dark, because if you don't make that conversion to digital, then the FCC is going to take your license back.
So now it was sold by Benny to another group, and the group is willing to put $1.6 million
into that
it?
digital aspect,
Into
and they're going to do it
digital.
by the fall. Now, everyone
Wait a
can...
minute, $1.6 million put into the station that's already promised. They did promise you could stay till 2015, although...
After we owned it,
Yes.
when we owned it. So perhaps, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't remember the
No, I don't
contract
think-
for
I think
verbatim,
they're right. I
but
think they may be right on
perhaps
that.
there was a clause in there that said when sold that would be void. I don't know. But here's the interesting part, Ken. If we look at this table, and this whole table is the region that will be covered by digital, right now TV13 in this whole table is this cup by just our broadcast signal. So if you still live in Nashua and our transmitter is still at Revere College, don't have a studio there anymore, but our transmitter is there, we can reach maybe a 2-mile radius with an antenna as an analog station.
Yeah.
But when we
You've gotta go digital.
when we go digital, it's this whole table. It goes all the way down. It's almost 300-fold what we are today.
And
it'll go down deeply into Boston, way north of Manchester, way to the east, and way to the west.
And you're not asking for money. You're not asking for them to do anything. The
They
other
don't,
company
Ken,
has
they
the
don't have to
$1.6
do
million.
anything. That's the whole point
Just
of
leave.
That's the
Leave-
sadness of it. They
don't have to do anything.
It's turning a button on. It's
Yeah.
So there's something underlying. We don't know what it is.
It's tough. It's tough. A small, I think that Gordon brought it up, and yourself also. This all started out because people couldn't get particular type of information, or they were too out, let's say, in the sticks to get it. Well, things kind of changed, but what hasn't changed is getting the very personable people like yourselves from the community going out and getting the information. So it's not like slick broadcast, if you know what I mean. It's family.
We raised over $500,000 for Girls Inc. alone during those auctions for Girls Inc.
I remember that.
And in fact, that auction was born out of Time Warner Cable coming to us and saying, God bless them, Carol Rice, the GM at the time, Gordon and Carolyn, we're looking for an event to put our name behind. We want to create something new in Nashua. Will you partner with us and do the live auction? Now that's collaboration. We didn't take a dime. Everything was donated, everything volunteered. $500,000 for Girls Inc. in a 10-year period. That was the kind of a relationship we really enjoyed with the cable company at that time. They were going through a rebuild, and at that time, so that they could have digital and endless channel space. But at the time, they were channel bound at the time, and it was a hard transition for the community, not having cable.
Yeah, Girls Inc. has won $500,000. What are some of the other?
I've devoted
Plus
the
company.
last 5 years of my life as serving on the board of Boys and Girls Club, and it's been a hard 2 years for them without TV13. Plus Company, we've done the Wild Irish Breakfast since the day it was born. One year we missed it because there was a wrinkle in the tape, and we didn't know it back in the old times of tape. And
Don't remind me.
Bernie wasn't too happy.
No, and he reminds me every time I see him about that.
And we won tickets. We won tickets when we went to the Wild Irish Breakfast this year on Southwest. But endless Special Olympics, the Nashua Symphony.
The list goes on, Ken, and I'm sure that
Rotary.
again, it's the localism that I think counts, and
I think people forget that. I don't think people understand.
It's not just us.
Girls
I mean,
Inc.
the radio stations
We're looking for
contribute.
5,000 signatures. We started the petition last night, and we have 39. We need 5,000 signatures
Well, we'd
to
like
make
to see,
to make
yeah.
a dent.
Yeah.
And reaching about 85,000 households in the area, about 350,000 people. The people in Peterborough enjoy it just as much. When we covered the 4th of July parade from Amherst. Oh God, I love that parade. it's going to be a sad, sad day, not only for our community with the loss of TV13. It's going to be, you know, a personal loss to us. This station will go on. Let me just leave that thought with you. It's still going to live on. It's still, the owners bought it, you know, for a reason, and to go digital, it will have a huge reach in that regard. And you know, it's sad to think that most people in this area won't be able to see the things we produce.
Well, over the years, I mean, you started so much. Football games, baseball games, I mean, so many.
We started covering City Hall before there was...
That's right, that's right.
Government channel. That was Gordon's idea. It was my idea to do health partners with Southern New Hampshire Medical Center all those years with Sally Valance, God rest her soul. And you know, all my causes, once diagnosed with breast cancer, you know, and nearly losing my life in the process. You know, cancer awareness and education, and
I've seen that. And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. 10 years now. Starting the charity at the Adult Learning Center for low-income women for breast health. It's been a big part of our lives. And we raised our family here and had lived in Nashua lived in Burlington, Vermont many years. Beautiful place. It was kind of a shock moving to Nashua at first. It was down on its heels.
Nashua's shocking.
In 1988.
We agree on that.
But after living here 8 months, I said to Gordon, I love it here, and I never want to live in another place.
Well, after people you're hearing all of this, and if you've been in Nashua since 1988, then you know TV13, and you know the work that they have done. They can't, this station just can't go without Carolyn and Gordon running it. They do far more work in the community than large stations like Channel 9. I mean, come on, they can go and they can talk to people 5 or 10 minutes. All the groups that you've worked with.
Graduations. We said 50,000 kids walked across our
in front of that camera.
Our stage.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, many of them. And it's funny to see them growing today when they think back, growing with families.
And the interesting thing about all of this is that when you're not there, someone will say, "What happened?" So really go to TV13.com and make something happen.
TV13Nashua.com.
Nashua.com,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah,
So, Gordon, you're back working again?
Yeah, it was kind of a shock, you know, because one minute...
Not to work?
I had been retired for a couple of years, Ken. I was kind of like getting used to the idea, you know. I was happy with the fact that every day was Saturday, and then I took Sundays off. So
see, he's quite a bit older than me. I'm his trophy wife.
Oh, I see.
These things keep coming up. Anyway, but when they said that they'd like to hire me back, I went yes, and I went, oh no, I got to go back to work again. But I'm enjoying. I mean, I'm happy that we can continue this station. I mean, it's been a labor of love for us over these years. It's trials and tribulations.
Oh, I know. We know.
It has an incredible history, and I'd be sad to see it go. But as Carolyn said, it will continue as a broadcast facility, and probably a pretty darn good one too, if I get a sense of what they're throwing at it. So.
But it will not have the community flavor that is certainly with you.
It won't have the same. It won't have the same reach in terms of cable coverage, but it'll still be out there for people to grab the signal off the air.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that digitally or
with digital television,
will they make it digital?
Oh yeah, it has to be digital.
It's going to go digital in September.
If it's not digital by 2015, as I said, the license goes away. So that's what this is all about. Keeping it alive.
Look, when you have the governor of the state of New Hampshire, when you have 2 senators, 1 Republican, 1 Democrat, Shaheen and Ayotte, when you have the New Hampshire Senate, which is both Republicans and Democrats, run by Bragdon, who is the president, and when you have Betty Lasky and you have Gilmore, two very important.
Deborah Pignatelli, executive
yes,
counselor.
Right, exactly, and and myself,
and you,
because I am a state representative, and I
and
know
you,
that
you were the first call after it hit the paper.
well, I'm sure, and I do hope. I know you will be invited on other other programs here, but it's really, really important that your people understand that we have to keep this particular type of TV. We have to keep these people. They've worked too hard, too long, and when it goes away, we're just going to go, what? Where is it? Why aren't the parades there? Why aren't particular ball games or graduations? So you go to TV13 Nashua.com. So we've got about 2 more minutes.
I think the
like
point, Ken, is to let the cable operator, Comcast, know that there is local support for it. I think that's what they're sensing, that because of its absence or somewhat absence over the last year or so, they feel that the public probably has lost interest in it. And they may very well have, but we're here to assure you that, believe me, we're going to bring it back. And we're hoping that the public will take an interest in, as you say, go to the website.
In the meantime, we have our old slots back on TV13, 9 a.m., 4 p.m., 7 and 10 p.m. Each night, and with various topics, everything from a great young man from Nashua High South going to already left for Nicaragua for an archaeological dig. Did a story on the Silver Knights and the local kids from our area. It's just the whole gamut of programming, and again, unique because those are your friends and neighbors.
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Ken.
And one other thing, look, I do want to repeat myself because it's very, very important. If you've been here since 1988, you realize that TV13 has been part of your life one way or another. We've gone through this graduation, so just the charity work that these people have done for the community. And the community itself. Now, as I've said, we are here, and this is Access Nashua. We do a very small part of the community. These people with TV13 do major parts of the community, but they do it in a very precise and a little bit longer, obviously, than the major stations. So it's really, really important. And the website again?
TV13Nashua.com.
TV13Nashua.com, TV13Nashua.com. By the way, I'm one state representative. I'm going to try to get 99 more. Then let's see what they say. So thank you very much, and see you next time.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.